Mic checker, chicka. It's not son, baby. Yeah, a one time, baby. What for your mind, baby? Yeah, we gon' shine, baby. And what we do, we gon' grind, baby. Yeah, what? And this is another episode, so a Swingers After Dark. And this is your host, not son, baby. Here we go. It's like, do you have family members that you don't fuck with? Are you a part of a family that you don't want to be a part of? Or are you a part of a family where you're the black sheep, where they blame everything on you and they don't fuck with you, even though you want their acceptance? And if you say yes to all of them, then this episode is for you. I dedicated this episode to all the black sheep of the family. You feel me? Now, me personally, I keep to myself. You know, I really don't speak to my family like that. I don't speak to them, or I don't speak with them. And that's not because, you know, I don't fuck with them or they don't fuck with me. It's because I keep to myself. You know, I love my company. I'm my best company. You know, I'm like a recluse by choice. I'm a hermit by choice. I'm a loner by choice. You understand me? But if I could pick up a phone, I know I could call them. You know, I know if I need something, I could get it from them. You feel me? And I'm a lone wolf. You understand me? I'm a lion. I walk alone. I walk like a lion alone. I don't need a crew. I don't need a squad. I don't need a clan. I don't need a gang. You know, like a lot of people ask me, you know, now son, how did you grow up in the city of Chicago? How did you grow up in Chicago and not be a part of a gang? And I'm like, you know, living in Chicago, you don't join a gang. It's like you're born into it. You feel me? Whether it's your immediate family or you just grew up in the neighborhood and you just link up with dudes in your neighborhood and all of a sudden you're a part of a gang. But me personally, I walk to my own beat. Like, the reason why I never thought about joining a gang is because it's not my thing. You know, it's like I walk alone. I fight my own battles. Yes, you know, you need alliances. You need associates. You need friends. You need confidants. I get it. But I was never the type of person who purposely sought after acceptance from a whole group of people, from a crowd, from a group. You know, it's like, fuck joining a cool table. I made my own cool table. And I said all that to say, you know, when you're a part of a family that you don't vibe with, and or they don't vibe with you, it's important to seek, you know, group therapy. You know, it's important to seek support, a support system. And you know, what's good about online, regardless of the bullshit that you may come across on the internet, what's great, not good, what's great about the internet is that you can easily find that support system on various social sites. You know, you have Facebook, you have Reddit, you have Twitter, you have Instagram, you have LinkedIn, you have a lot of social media groups where you can find that support system without meeting people. You know, you don't have to step outside your apartment or your house, your home. You don't have to see them. You know, you could just be on your laptop, your computer, and you could find a support system that could get you through the hard times, that could help you with your trials and tribulations, instead of you just throwing in a towel and want to commit suicide. You know, it's like tough people last forever and tough times don't. And when you realize that, you know, tough times don't last, but tough people do, then that will allow you to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And everybody needs help. Everybody needs wise counsel, including myself. Like, I don't claim to know everything. I'm ignorant to a lot of things. And you know, I don't claim to be the smartest person in the room, because I don't want to be the smartest person in the room. I don't want to be the most intellectual person in the room. I don't want to be the richest person in the room, the wealthiest, or whatever the case may be. I'm constantly improving on myself. It's about growth and development. 365, 24/7, baby. And you know, what's good about the internet, you could be a part of a group without being a part of a group. What do you mean by that now, son? It's like, okay, let's take this pandemic for an example. And let's say you're unemployed. And it's like you're in pins and needles because you're trying to figure out how to pay rent, your bills, your mortgage, how to buy food, you know, how to get from A to Z, whatever the case may be. And you think that life is bleak. But you have groups in Reddit. You know, you have Reddit groups or even Facebook groups that have groups that, you know, those groups have support system, like a healthy support system to get people through their trials and tribulations if they're unemployed. Or, you know, you have groups who talk about stimulus checks, and you have groups who trade ideas about how to, you know, create income, have multiple streams of income when they're unemployed. Or it doesn't have to, like, the situation doesn't have to do with anything with money. You just need to know that there are people out there who are going through the same things that you go through, and you need a shoulder to lean on. You're leaning on each other for support. And you have groups out there where you can vent without being judged. You know, you have groups on Reddit and Facebook, you know, without being judged. And you could tell them everything that you're going through because you know that you have other people in the trenches with you. And I say all that to say, you know, when you're going through your family struggles, it's hard to trust other people with your situation and with your issues because you don't want your issues to be used against you. You don't want strangers to weaponize your family troubles, to use that against you and take advantage of you because they think that you're weak and vulnerable. Trust me, it's not easy to trust others. I know the irony of me saying trust me is funny when I say that it's not easy to trust others, but you get what I'm talking about. It's like it's not easy to bare your soul for people to use it against you. You understand me? For people to take advantage of your vulnerable state. And then you're in a fucked up situation than you were before. And you know, if you're not a part of a family where you don't fuck with, where they treat you like shit and they treat you like, you know, the black sheep of a family, it's good to go on these online groups. And when you go on these online groups, make sure that these people are not crazy as batshit and they got a good head on their shoulder for you to confide in them. You know, when you go to a Facebook group or a Reddit group or any type of group, check out the temperature of the group. You know, even in real life, when you walk in the group, you have to be silent first. You know, look, listen, and observe and see the moving shakers of the room before you say anything, before you open your fucking mouth or type in a group. Check the temperature of the room first. See if these people are worthy to read about your story, to hear your story, and get to know you. You know, it's like your personal business should be your sacred ground. It should be your sanctuary. And it's like, what kills me, no pun intended, or what bothers me rather, what bothers me is when people bare their naked soul on their timeline. Like me personally, I don't tell people my personal business online because you don't want strangers to go in your home. It's like your body is your temple, and so is your mind. And you know, you want that support system where you could build a foundation of positivity. It's like a house. Your support system, your circle should be a house. You know, you want positive people to lay down a foundation, to cement themselves in your life where you're not building on quicksand. They laying down the concrete where you can have a positive structure and they could build your house brick by brick, you know, stone by stone. You have a solid foundation and a structure that will allow you to build room for improvement. You know, you have a lot of room for improvement. And a lot of people could help you, or they could assist you, or not even help you or assist you. They could motivate you and inspire you to fill those rooms of improvement, so you could be proven, so you could not only fulfill your potential, but also you could be the chosen one of whatever you want to do in life. It's like you're a proven success story. And that's what life is about. When you find your purpose, when you find your purpose in life, sky's is the limit. And that's why you need that positive affirmation around you. People who could push you to the limit. People who see something in you that you don't even see within yourself. And that's why it's important, instead of diving in head first, stick your tippy toes in the water to see if it's just right. It's like Goldilocks eating porridge. It's not too hot, it's not too cold, it's just right. Or it's like Goldilocks sitting in a chair. It's not too big, it's not too small, it's just right. Or it's like Goldilocks resting on a bed. It's not too small, it's not too big, it's just right. And yes, I love fairy tales. I love a good children's story. You know what I'm saying? But back to the lecture at hand. When you go on these social media groups, make sure that you can vibe with these people. There's nothing wrong with sitting back and not saying anything. You're just soaking in the ambiance. You're just soaking in the environment first. Don't say shit. You may be observing for a week, a month, 2 months, a few months. Sometimes you don't have to say anything. Sometimes somebody's success story can motivate you, and motivate you to the point where you know that their story, without you saying something, to get you out of a fucked up situation. Because you're not alone in the struggle. And when you see somebody overcome their struggle, that could give you the tools to build the house where you want to live in. And that house could be, that house could be a house of comfort, a house of security, a house of stability, where that, well, if this person could overcome their plight, I could do the same thing. And people share ideas. If you're unemployed, you need to go in groups where people could show you where to get a job or two, or you need to go in groups where people could give you ideas of how to create multiple streams of income. So you won't rely on a 9-to-5 or even rely on the government to feed you. You feel me? And this pandemic is a wake-up call. This pandemic is a wake-up call to allow people to see that you cannot rely on this government to feed you, because it's about their self-interest. The United States in general, the United States specifically, the United States of America specifically, is not a country, it's a corporation. And the reason why I say that is because it makes no sense for, politicians to come up with a plan. It makes no sense that it takes them 6 months to figure out how to take care of their citizens. It's like they're using their citizens as a political football to satisfy their best interests. Regardless of the party, I don't give a fuck if you're a Democrat or Republican or independent. We're in this together. You feel me? There's no reason to political game bang on each other. You feel me? It's like political affiliation has nothing to do with Congress and the Senate and the House. They taking a sweet ass time, going on vacation, going on trips while you're starving. It's crazy. It took them 6 months to come up with a fucking agreement to make sure that to make sure that their citizens are okay. Because a lot of people did not ask to be unemployed. We did not ask for this pandemic. It just happened. People did not ask to stay home and not work and collect unemployment. But you have a lot of trolls out there, and you have a lot of politicians, and you have a lot of people in general who think that you're being lazy and you don't want to bust your ass and you're just collecting a check just cause. And a lot of people, when you hear that rhetoric, when you hear that narrative, I can understand how you could become depressed because you know who you are. But at the same time, it's like, damn, where is the empathy? Where is the compassion? And that's why you have these social media groups. They see the compassion in men, because a lot of disasters, it could bring out the ugliness in people. But if you're the type of person, you don't want to step outside the box, outside your home, and you want to see comfort in your home and solace in your home, there are a lot of support systems in these online groups who could inspire you, or who could help you see that, this is just a storm that we have to weather. And once we get out this storm, everything is back to normal. And I know it's easier said than done, because a lot of people lost their homes. A lot of people, lost their jobs. A lot of people lost their livelihood. But at the same time, it's if you don't have family to help you out, and if you don't fuck with your family and your family don't fuck with you, I will hope that you have friends who can help you. Because your friends could be family. You don't have to be blood related to be family. And not for nothing, just because you're related to somebody through blood, that doesn't make you your family. Real talk. Like, a stranger could be your family more than the people who you grew up with and your household. You feel me? It's like you don't have to be bonded by blood. You could be bonded by, experience. Or you could be bonded by, you have something in common with this person, and you know that this person has your back by any means necessary. The good, the bad, and the ugly. But if you don't have that support system in life, there's a lot of online support systems. There's a lot of free therapy sessions. There's a lot of online free therapy sessions. And that human communication is important. Solitary confinement is not healthy. So the cure for the common depression is to get in these social groups to find the people who you can vibe with, where it's judgment free. It's a non-judgment zone. And there's a lot of groups out there, a lot of social media groups where you can find people who trade ideas. They could give you tips on how to buy food banks, food drives. It's a lot of information out there. We're in an era of information. We're in the age of Aquarius. And whether you're into horoscopes or not, and zodiac signs or not, we're in an era where there's a lot of information and knowledge that's out there. And it's for you to build a network with people. You can't be shy. This is no time to be shy. Use the internet to your advantage. You have a smartphone. You still have a smartphone. Or you could go to a library and look up groups that could answer your questions. You may have a lot of questions in your mind that you need answered, and you don't have anywhere to go. But you have to use the social media to your advantage. Social media is not all about gossip and talking shit and using idle time. It's about using your time wisely and use it for yourself. If you don't use it, you're going to lose it. You understand me? And go on these social media groups. Figure out who could lead you to the right path, to the right direction. And when somebody gives you information, it's up to you rather. When people give you information, it's up to you to research to see if that information is right and exact and on point. Because you have a lot of people who are sheep, and you don't want to get to the point where the blind is leading the blind to where you falling off a fucking cliff, because people who are giving you information don't have a sense of direction. So, I know we're in a fucked up situation, but guess what, baby? This is an eye-opener. This pandemic is an eye-opener. From you losing your job, to you losing your house, to these, politicians don't give a fuck about us, and it's all about their self-interest. This is an eye-opener to know who's with you and who's against you. You understand me? And at the end of the day, it's not going to stay nighttime forever. It's not going to stay dark forever, because out of darkness comes light. And when you have that in mind, then you know that there's something greater later. You feel me? And on that note, this has been another episode of Swingers After Dark, and this is your host, Not Sun, baby. Check out my website at www.notsunblaze.com. That's www.nahsunblaze.com. And check out my ebook, You, Me, Us, Them, The Swinging Manifesto. It's on Nook, Kindle, iBooks, Google Play. Go get it. It'll make you say, na, ow. And shoot me an email at swingpodcast@gmail.com. That's swingpodcast@gmail.com. Hit me up with any questions or concerns that you may have. Rate, share, subscribe, and comment on this podcast. Dig. And on that note, until next time, peace.